Okay. This is going to be a demonstration for the coloring part of your RoyLichenstein portraits. So we're going to do a couple of different things for the coloring part. So, one part is we'll have your, reference photo to look at to see what colors we can match. We're also going to create a color palette of your image that we use, and then we're gonna pick out the colors to color in our pieces using the clipping mask on separate layers. So this is how it should look when you're finished with the coloring part. There's gonna be a separate video for like clipping mask and adding the Ben-Day dots, go into more details with the drawing part. Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of start over on this part again. So at this point now, this is like kind of where you should be at with the drawing of your portraits. Okay, so definitely if you need a little bit more time to work on the drawing, by all means, spend more time on it. I feel like if you have like a really, really strong foundation with the coloring or the inking, the drawing itself, then coloring, you probably don't have to do as much, and any color you add to it, it'll already look like a very, very nice piece to look at. Okay, so one thing I do want to just make sure to address to you is, this bar right here that kind of changes your brush size. This is your opacities. We'll talk about more about opacities when we do like the coloring. You probably don't even really mess with this. There is a way to move it from the right or left side, depending on if you're right or left-handed. So most of you guys are right-handed, so by default it is on the left side. Now, if you're left-handed like me, though, you probably don't want the bar to be on the left side. And I basically moved it on the right side. So there is a way you can change like this where it is. If you click on the wrench, you click on preference. These are like some things you can change on your color palette. So you can move it on the left side if you want. It is on the left side by default, but the thing is, though, it kind of like touches my hand when I'm drawing. So definitely one of my preferences I like is to just moving it to the right side. There's also a lot of things you can do. You can change it from like light mode to dark mode. Although I feel like the light mode hurts my eyes looking at it. There's other like settings you can mess around with. I'm not sure what the brush cursor does, but I know there's a setting where you can make it where like it shows you the brush of like how it looks. You can play around with the settings though, but there's like different things you can do. Actually, this shows like the actual brush. So you want to actually see like the brush that you're working with, rather than like you're just kind of placing it on here and you don't know what's going on with it. That's another thing you can change. That's a setting I like, just because I like to see like what the brushes are doing. When I'm pressing down on it. Okay, so just a few advanced features. Okay, so now for the coloring part. Okay, we're gonna have to like set up your canvas space. So originally you were probably working in this mode right here, just because there's a bigger space to work with your drawing. So we're actually going to flip it vertically. So hopefully the video should be fine when you look at it. I probably turned it sideways when I did that, but if you're working vertically, though, work horizontally, just because you want space for like your other things. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the wrench, click on canvas. We're going to add a reference, so you check the reference, and so you can actually click and drag and move this box here, and just like your canvas on the outside, you can pinch it to make it smaller, you can make it bigger, and if you drag the corners, you can make it smaller. So we want to have like a nice reference to look at for like your pictures. So you click on image and import image. We can import the photograph that we've used. So doing the same thing, just making it smaller. I just want to have an idea of like where my colors would go. So obviously, if you're left-handed like me, I'm going to arrange it like this. Put it the other way if you're right-handed, because you don't want to be overlapping your hand on the references. Okay, so I'm going to flip it back here though. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the colors from the photo, and then we're going to use it in our drawing. So it's really easy to do that. You just click on the color swatches. You have a couple different options out here. There's disc, classic, harmony, value. We're going to use the one that says palette. And you probably won't have anything on this palette here though, but you can create palettes from like your photos that you've used or different works of art. So if you click on the plus on the top, click on new from photos. So hopefully you didn't delete your photo, but you're going to want to grab your photo, click on it, and then it's going to create a color palette from like that photo. So once you've created that color palette, you can just check it off the one you want to use. So this is the one I want to use, and then I'm just going to drag it down to make it smaller. And now I have all the colors I need to do my coloring part. So, real simply, you just click on the colors so you get the colors you need. And you just basically want to color like kind of like just the primary colors of like each of the areas. So obviously I'm going to use more of like a tan for my skin, a blue for my shirt, a darker gray for my hair. So I'm not going to use a black, but I'm going to use like a darker gray like this. And we're just kind of just lay out colors, just to see what it looks like. Okay, so when you do the coloring though, just like in your Adobe Illustrator, you're going to want to put the things that you're coloring behind your draw layer. All right, and just to make it safe though, I would even just lock your draw layer, okay, because you don't really need to draw on it anymore. If you need to draw on though, you can always turn off the lock though. So I'm gonna click on the photo layer and click on plus to add a new layer. And basically we're just going to color in like the different areas of the picture. So if you want, you can label these things. So I'm going to just label this trying to figure out how to get my keyboard. Oh, okay, here we go. So I'm going to label this skin. So this area I would just like color in my skin tone. So I'm going to click on the colors, click on the layer here, and then I would just use the inking brush again. So just use the inking brush. You can make your brush as big as possible, and at least with the solid color though, you can actually make sure everything is colored in properly. So any areas my skin though, I'm just going to color in that tan color. So just take your time, color it in all the way. So there is a way we can use the fill though, but I don't really suggest using the fill for this. Just kind of treat it as if it were like like a traditional color book. Just coloring all those areas that you need to color in. Okay, so I'm just coloring it in, taking my time. One suggestion I make to you when you're coloring is make sure to lift your MAC pencil every once in a while. Okay, because like the worst thing you could do is kind of color in like a whole spot and then be like, oops, I made a little mistake. And then if you want to like undo something, then you can't really undo it. So for example, if I'm like coloring this whole hand here, I'm really taking my time making sure everything is colored in properly, and then I go, oops, I colored in too much of there. If I undo that though, all that coloring I did before is like gone. All right, now you can use the eraser tool up here, and again I would just click on the brush eraser, use the same brush as before, the studio pen. You can erase it to clean it up. Okay, but real important though, whatever color you're using though, just stick with that same color, and you want to make sure to color in all those areas. Okay, so I'm not going to do the rest of my skin though, but obviously I would need to color in like this part here, that part there, this part here. Okay. Now, next class though, or whenever we finish coloring these base colors, we're going to use this technique called clipping mask. Okay, so that's going to allow us to add some details to like the areas that we've colored in. Okay, but just real important, you want to separate them on the different layers. So we're gonna do like the skin. Let's just say I want to do like the hair. Now you don't have to label all these layers, but I'm just showing you like what they should be. use like this dark blue here. So under the hair layer, this is where I'm going to use like this darker gray. Okay, so you know, just take my time, color it in. If I go, oops, color in too much, use the eraser. So now since we separate into like a different layer though, you know, when we erase it though, we're only erasing like the gray part. So whatever layer you're doing though, just use like that same color. So yeah, I'm gonna just color this in quickly though. Take your time with the coloring, but you should do, you know, one layer for like your, you know, like the hair layer. And make another layer on top. Label this. I don't need to label it. You know, this will be like where I colored my shirt. So another thing too is you might not get the exact blue of your shirt, of the clothes. You can also, if you click and hold the mouse button, you can use the eyedropper to get colors too. So this is like using my finger. You can eyedrop colors as well. So yeah, this is like where we color in all the areas of the shirt here. Okay, so obviously you want to take your time with the color. I'm just doing it real quickly. But all these different layers though, they should be separate pieces for like different areas that you're coloring. Okay, don't do it all in one layer, because the next step that I give you will be a lot harder. Okay, but you know, let's just say I did everything I'm supposed to. It should look like this when you're done though. Alright, now I have a lot of different layers in here though. But, you know, I have like one layer where I did my skin tones here. I have one layer I did my lip. You know, it's like a different shade of pink. I have one for my clothes. I have one for my watch. And then I did one for like the stripes on my shirt. Okay, so these are all like separate layers of like areas that I colored in. So and then if you're wondering what these arrows are on the bottom, these are clipping masks. So, you know, basically these areas that I colored in, I can just only have it affect the area that's going to like the skin tone layer. So this is like where it's like really fun. You can add the details, you can work on the drawing, and yeah, I'm gonna explain this next part a little bit later though, but this is like where you're gonna add the details of your drawing, you know, to bring it to life. Okay, but you either have to have these separate areas though, because you know, like for example, if I were to add like the clipping mask on here, so I create a new layer, clipping mask. So it automatically creates a clipping mask for you when you add you know, multiple masks, but you would click on clipping mask here. I don't do that because I took off all my clipping masks. But it's literally like the clipping mask, what that does is you know, whatever I colored in though, it's only going to go on like that tan area. Okay, so you know, we need that to add the details. Like for example, if you want to add like shadows to it, I'm just kind of doing like a quick example here. You know, we would just add the shadows. And you can change the opacity. This allows us to add like the details for like your drawing that you need. All right. Okay, but it's important though that you know, separate the layers like I showed you in the other example. And then this part will be so much easier because, you know, you don't have to worry about things going between the lines, making sure everything is proper. You know, you can just kind of just draw and color on it. But, you know, important though that you, again, this is more of a messed up drawing. You separate the different layers with the colors that you did, and then you can add the clipping mask on top. All right.